My name's Chad Clark. I'm the president and founder of Axis Builders. We're at TheMET Church, which was originally founded in 1965 at this location. In 1982, the worship center was built. Last year, we had the opportunity to renovate it. It involved essentially converting it from a pew-style worship center to fixed auditorium seating. Currently, there's around 1,700 fixed auditorium seats, and they have the ability to add an additional 250 in what we call the flex and response room. Major reconstruction of the space, including the lobbies, was completed in November of 2019. We completed the construction within 6 months, and it was a very, very fast project. Like many projects, this was not a ground up, it was a renovation. And so we had a wall that essentially separated us from the children's building, which was also an active school. While we didn't have direct contact with them, there were a significant amount of things that tied the two buildings together. It was important that we differentiate ourselves. What we did is, one of our standard things is anybody that works on an Axis job site receives a sticker that identifies that they've been through our safety orientation plan. But they also had to wear a vest so that we could identify who was supposed to be here. Like every project, safety is a key factor. It's actually one of our core values: safety, quality, integrity, and relationships. We had over 50,000 man-hours on this project alone over a 6-month period of time. One of the most unique challenges on this project was that we had to have multiple trades working simultaneously. That means that in some cases, we were installing flooring while we were still demolishing concrete or placing concrete at the same time. That doesn't normally happen, especially when you're in the same space. But because the way that we had to phase everything and stage things, those things had to take place in that way. Major scopes of work on this project were, we had to put up what we call a dance floor. Essentially, that's a scaffolding that allows us to access the ceiling. It took a total of 20 days just to get the scaffolding in place. Because the structure sloped, we weren't able to just do one completely flat across it. So we built that one in the back to allow trades to start working. We then built the one that's on the west side, which included the material lift, and then we built the one on the east side. That scaffolding, it was a major fixture within the worship center. One of the really significant scopes of work that we had to do up there was we installed over 200 lineal feet of radiused catwalk. We had to take field measurements to make sure that all the structural pieces that were in place that we thought were there, then fabricate it and then get it back installed. All of that had to be done during the time frame in which the scaffolding was in place. So we put up two countdown clocks. We had one that had the completion date, and we had one when the scaffolding came down. We have this much time, and that scaffolding comes down no matter what. In the worship center, we reconfigured the entire stage to make it more functional with the new layout of the seating. And then back in the flex and response room, which that used to be pews, it was part of the sloped floor from the front. We leveled that out. If they need to reconfigure that, say on Easter or Christmas, they can add anywhere from 250 to probably 300 chairs in there. The baptistry was there too. This was, when you looked at it from the beginning, it was your typical Baptist style church with the baptismal in the center, had a choir loft, and then the stage down below. We had to install structural steel to create what became the second floor for the new green room and an office. We replaced all the existing lights in the worship center with RGB, LED, individually addressable lights, which allow the AV department to control them so that you can have different lighting sets for performances. A really large scope of work was relocating the entire AV control area from the 3rd floor down to the 1st floor. And one of the really neat features that was added was on the back wall, this worship center had no natural light coming into it. The architect felt like it needed to be introduced, there needed to be natural light. We opened up the walls and created 9 32-foot tall curtain walls. So when service is ready to start, they're able to hit the button, the blackout blinds come down, and we then have a space that is more auditorium style. We did a significant amount of renovation out in the lobby area or foyer. When you have a project that's a renovation, especially one that was 38 years old, you discover 38 years of modifications, if you will. We had a lot of electrical, a lot of phone lines, data cables, HVAC control lines, fire alarm, all which had to be sorted through to figure out where's it going, what's it doing, is it alive, you know, what are we going to do with this? All of that was hidden in a ceiling. The design is to have kind of more of an open concept. So we have clouds that run down either side of the foyer, really opening up the way that looks, because it was very dark to begin with. One of the things that absolutely really finishes out this lobby area is the cable railing system. Shy of 90 days left, we were in a meeting and it was determined we need to get rid of all these drywall pony walls and put in a cabling system. We were able to accomplish that in a very, very short period of time. Something else that I think makes this project unique is that it was a space that was originally built for things not to be seen, meaning that you had ceilings that concealed everything. So I thought that was pretty unique, and the designers and the subcontractors did a really good job in coming up with creative ways to make those things go away and accomplish their overall design intent. I feel like the biggest way that we served our client on this particular project was the schedule. They have a lot of community partners in which they have to come and utilize this space. So we made a commitment to have this space open by December 1 so that all of those objectives could be met, and I'm proud of the way that we served them in that way. Currently, I live about a mile from here. So I've driven by this church. I've actually worshiped here. I have friends, personal friends now and in the past that went to church here. Every job you do, you kind of have a personal relationship with. This one was a lot closer to, because this is my neighborhood. I know the people that go to church here, and to be able to work on something like that and then to take something from, a typical 1980s worship space and bring it to just an absolutely glorious auditorium that is multifunctional, but at the end of the day serves God, man, there's nothing better than that.